The show where there are no penalties, nothing is offside, and everything is fair game. This is The Gloves Are Off.
Hi, welcome to this week's edition of The Gloves Are Off. I'm Moses Wildu, and as always, I'm joined by Greg Buchanan, my co-host here, and also the voice of the CPCA. How are you doing?
Not too bad, Moses.
Good weekend, too, as well.
Great weekend in North Battleford, weekend off now, and then head off to Yorkton.
It's going to be a fun trip for you.
Yes, fun trip.
Yeah, and I'm also pleased to announce and be joined by Ryan Parent, the new head coach of the Lloydminster Bobcats. How are you doing today?
Very good, Moses. First TV appearance here, so you're going to have to walk me through this one, but I think it'll be fun.
We'll take it easy on you.
We'll be easy. All right, well, we'll start off with, depends on who you are, an easy topic. Stanley Cup Finals, of course, the New Jersey Devils taking on the LA Kings. Might not necessarily be the matchup the NHL wanted in terms of the ideal. You got the New York Rangers, a big market against LA, a big market. In this case, it's the Devils, but the Devils do have a lot of talent. Do they match up well with the LA Kings?
My take would be absolutely. I mean, both those teams have kind of tooth and nailed their way all the way to the final. And I mean, I was listening to Sutter speak a little bit, and his comment was, these are the guys that bleed and they're battered all the way through it, and he's pretty proud of his group, and I can see why, because I wouldn't have called that. No. How about you, Greg?
No, I like Jersey and the LA Kings. You look who LA beat now. They beat Vancouver. That was a great series in the first round to beat the Canucks, but at the same time, they beat St. Louis, they beat Phoenix, two teams that really don't have playoff experience. So who have they really beaten to get where they are? That's not taking anything away from their good hockey team. They can roll all four lines. They're big, they're aggressive, they have skill. They're getting yeoman's effort by Mitchell on the back end, and it's interesting to see. But the LA Kings should roll all over the New Jersey Devils, but I don't think it's going to be a 4 or 5 game series. Could be 6 or 7.
Yeah, but I guess the next question would be, is this LA's to lose? They've had the rest. They haven't played as many games as, say, the Devils have. They've had 2 7-game series and a nice little second-round victory. But is this the LA Kings series to lose?
In my mind, the rest is going to be a factor. I mean, it always is, and you get a little break like that, and it hasn't been. I mean, how many days are we talking here? It hasn't been a huge amount of rest, but it still gives them the upper hand, I feel. And I mean, LA on the road, I mean, they've just been outstanding. So, I think the advantage or the upper hand might be to them. But you look at New Jersey's lineup, I mean, they are deep, and I think with a veteran tender like like Brodeur, I mean, I think they stand a. If I look at playoffs and I look how things shake out, I mean, goalies make coaches look real good, and Marty Brodeur, he's a winner.
It's very true, and I guess we could get into that topic of coaches, guys. Peter DeBoer and Daryl Sutter have done fantastic jobs with the teams. Sutter coming into the halfway point of the season, and what DeBoer's done throughout the season for the Devils. Who's impressed you the most?
Well, you know what? You take DeBoer and you put him in Jersey. You know what? Jersey's played that same style of game. Doesn't matter. You just kind of replace the coach, and Jersey's still playing that kind of shutdown game.
But you know
LA
what? They
Kings,
do have they're more offensive
now.
They're
more entertaining than they were.
They're not as bad as, say, Jacques Lemaire
Yeah.
back in the 90s or in 2000s when they had Larry Robinson in there for a little bit too. They actually are playing more of an offensive game.
Yeah, back in the day when Lemaire was coaching, I'd rather watch somebody cut their grass than to watch the Devils play. But they are a solid hockey team. But the LA Kings, they were left for dead with Terry Murray behind the bench. They got rid of Terry Murray. All of a sudden, Daryl Sutter, and they talk about his intensity. He looks like he's falling asleep behind the bench some nights, but he does have intensity in practices.
Who's impressed you?
Well, I mean, I think Sutter's got a plan there. Both those guys, I don't know what the exact timelines were, but I think Sutter mid-season, DeBoer, beginning of the year type thing. So they're both relatively new to the program, and sometimes, if you're following a program that the coach has been a little dry or whatever, the change was needed, bam, you can have instant success right away. I mean, it can also go the other way if you know, if the coach was doing a hell of a good job and the guys were buying in, you know, it can also go south for you. But I think in both those situations, you got guys who've really, you know, they've taken it by the horns and rolled with it. And the guys are, you can tell the players are really, they're playing for both those guys. You know.
Yeah, it should be good. You talk about the Kings and how the players are playing for Sutter, Brown, namely, especially him. He's done a great job. Let's talk about the other captain, Zach Parise. He's done a fantastic job and arguably the best player. Is it safe to say that he's the reason why this team is in the Stanley Cup final?
Well, yeah, one of the key reasons, not the only reason, but you know, you need your good players, your great players to be your great players every night, and he has been for the most part. He's had a couple of nights off, but he's bounced back the next night.
I don't know that it. I mean, I think those captains provide. Both of those guys are great leaders. I mean, Brown might even be a little higher in the point category. Yeah. I'd have to take a look, but I mean, I think both those guys are rounding out their teams. And I mean, are they the only reason? I don't think so. I mean, I think there's depth in both those lineups.
But with Zach Parise, this is his free agent year. He's going to be getting big money. Of course, if you look at Hemsky, for example, if he's getting $10 million for 2 years, chances are Parise is going to be getting up there over $5, $6, $7 million for sure. Do you see him staying in Jersey, or is he done?
Yeah, that's a hard call. You kind of like to see him stay in Jersey. You like to see those good players stay with the teams that he has built. You know, they built that team kind of around him, more or less. I like to see him stay, but you know, money's money.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up Hemsky. I never would have called that. You know, that Edmonton would have got a hold of him for another term. You know, I mean, I'll tell you a story. I head over to Czech Republic quite a bit, and you know, I got to have a talk with his old man, and this was before Edmonton was mathematically eliminated, and he already had his plane ticket booked back to Czech Republic. So, you know, I kind of lean towards taking a few more Canadian guys in there. You know.
Okay, you do have Zach Parise. Obviously, he's from North America, so I don't think he's going to be leaving Jersey anytime soon for the American. But do you see this guy leaving? Kind of like, you know, how Albert Pujols, he won a World Series with St. Louis. Boom, he's in Anaheim right now. So do you kind of see him leaving, especially with Lou Lamoriello? You know he's not going to be spending the money. He's a guy who's very efficient when it comes to his money.
Let's just say he's going to test the market out and see where it's at. Any smart player will, and you know, they do have a very short time frame to make their money, get that big contract. So here's his chance, and yeah, he's going to take offers. Don't be surprised if he gets a pretty good one from a team very close to him.
Do you think he's going to stay, or is he going to go?
Well, how does that differ from? I mean, it could end up being a great deal for somebody else, or he might be better suited to take a little less and stay where he is. Like, you remember Dustin Penner when he got moved from Anaheim, right? You know, ended up in Edmonton, and I really don't know that it mapped out for him until maybe the last year.
Even this season in LA, Penner was, you know, pretty subpar for the most regular season.
Well, you know what? He threw his back out eating pancakes. But I'll tell you what, we're going to have to stop right there. We got to pay some bills too. So we'll take a 2-minute timeout, and we'll be back with more Gloves Are Off.